Welcome to The Practical Intuitive, where each Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, where host Robyn Fritz explores mind, body, and spirit for the real world. Because we are all intuitives and healers, and we must all learn to love ourselves and live that love every day. Robyn is a trained and certified intuitive and spiritual consultant and hypnotherapist with an international practice based in Seattle, Washington. As the practical intuitive, she covers personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice. It's all here. Readings, healings, and funny, warm, thought-provoking conversations. It's Robyn Fritz, the Practical Intuitive, helping you mastermind body and spirit for the real world. No ifs, ands, buts, or BS ever.
Welcome to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robyn Fritz, and we're live today from Seattle, Washington. So happy end of Labor Day weekend for those of you who are listening from the United States. So each week on the show, my work and my show, it's all about helping you to help yourself, love yourself, and tap your natural, intuitive, and healing abilities so that you can live a full, satisfying, fun life. So I welcome you calling in, listening, or emailing me with questions and comments so that we can talk about the subjects that are most interesting to you on the show. So if you'd like to call in today for a brief reading or to ask a question or to tell me what you're thinking, it's 202-570-7057. And if you're shy, please email me at robynfritz.com. That's ROBYNFRITZ.com. So I'm an intuitive and spiritual consultant and certified past life regression specialist here in Seattle. And let's jump into the show today. I have a couple of things I want to talk about. The concept of sacred play, which is important for us to think about on a weekend where we're celebrating work. And some questions that people have emailed me during the week. And then we also have a caller on the line, so hang tight. Let's jump into the show with a guided meditation with the Crystal Fallon, the Citrine Lemurian Chord. So let's just take a deep breath. Breathe in all healthy, positive energy straight to your gut. And as you exhale, just release what doesn't serve you, the cares and the worries of the day. And just take this hour to be with yourself, your soul, and with us as a community. And as you breathe in, feel yourself settling deeper into your chair, relaxing, releasing the cares of the day. And if you take your attention to the top of your head, what we're going to do with connecting with Fallon is simply to help you clear out anything that's stuck in you, clear out those chakras, get your body nice and clear for the coming week. So breathe down from the top of your head, down your face, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your knees, and your feet. Top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And just feel that energy clearing out. And now if you imagine Fallon as a gold light, a crystal ball of gold light radiating at your feet, just imagine that as he moves up outside your body, that you're just drawing in this healthy gold light, breathing it straight to your heart. And with each beat of your heart, it's just flooding your system with well-being, with good thoughts, with good positive energy for the coming week. So imagine now as that energy floats up from your feet, past your knees, your hips, your solar plexus, your heart chakra, your shoulders, your neck, your communication, your face, your third eye, and your crown chakra. So you may notice in this hour as you're connected with us here and the community, and especially with Crystal Fallon, your crown chakra may be wide open, and that's fine. At the end of the show, we'll just close that back down and clear out with energy so that you can go about your day without any lightheadedness. But do note that you are using the intuitive ability that is most strong for you today. So I wanted to talk briefly about sacred play and the concept of sacred play. But we do have a caller on the line, so if she's there, let's bring in our caller if she's there.
Hello.
Hi, Linda, it's Robyn. Thanks for calling in today.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. This is exciting.
Well, I'm so glad that you called. So what's up with you today?
There was one basic thing that I've been having an issue with, and I'm not sure what it's stemming from.
Okay.
It was kind of like a neuropathy that I have with my nerves, and it's not been able to be diagnosed or treated with any type of, medication or anything like that. And I really feel like it's a lot of stuck energy, and I just kind of feel like everything's clogged, but I don't know how to release any of it to get it to all start flowing again. And, I've just had a lot of things going on in my life, and I'm kind of open to anything that you think I need to know or that you can see or tell me that would help.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling. I do appreciate that, and I totally understand what you're feeling when you're dealing with something that they can't get a handle on. I certainly dealt with that for many years, and it was a struggle. And I imagine if you feel the same way that I did, Linda, it's like we struggle for self-confidence. Right. As well as healing when no one seems to be able to support us. Does that resonate with you? Like, I'm not sure I feel really confident again.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here's a couple things. One is it's really what's your self practice every day? Like when you get up in the morning, do you set an intention for the day is the first thing that comes to my mind. And if you do, how do you state that? Do you mind sharing that with us?
I don't set an intention. I mean, I guess my intention is to get up and go to work and do the best that I can do and make it through the day. I mean, I don't really have anything.
Yeah. It's like we're busy enough just getting out of bed in the morning, right?
Right.
And yet it was really interesting because your spirit guide team popped in and said, set an intention in the morning. Now, here's my philosophy in life. Things aren't meant to be. So when something happens to us, it's not a punishment. It's not something, haunting you from some other thing. It's just what happens. And so when I was going through this years ago, and before I learned how to tap my own intuitive and healing abilities, is that I would wake up in the morning and I'd go, okay, I'm going to do the best that I can today. And then off I went to whatever it is that I wanted to do. But another thing that really helps is if you can do a self-healing practice right before you get out of bed in the morning and right before you go to sleep at night, if you have no other time during the day. And one of those things that I did, and I did this for a long time and I got away from it with my new animals, is imagine that you're just lying flat in bed, and so you might want to, maybe set your alarm clock for 5 minutes earlier if you can, or if you can just take a few moments in the morning, because I know what it's like, you got to get up and run. But I'd lie flat in bed, and I'd cross my hands on my heart, and then I'd just breathe in positive energy and just breathe in like, okay, relaxing. And then I'd put my hands on the top of my head, and I would just, send peace and support and good energy to my body. And I'd start at the top of my head and literally run my hands down my body to my feet. So, of course, you're lying flat. You kind of have to roll over or something to touch your feet. But it's really sending yourself energy healing. Okay. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
And it's a really simple little thing, Linda, but it's just like write yourself a note and like lean over in the morning when you get up and like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this self-healing technique, because I did Reiki training like 10 years ago. And the truth of the matter is that you are naturally intuitive and healer, a natural intuitive and healer. So you've got healing energy all over your body, but it's really concentrated in the palms of your hands. So have you taken any energy healing classes, anything like Reiki or anything like that?
I haven't.
Yeah, and that's okay. I was just trying to check where you were on that, because you can get really complicated in doing that, and it's actually very easy. So one of the things they teach you, and if you could try it now, is like rubbing your hands together, the palms of your hands together, and then you kind of move them out away in a little bit. And some people can feel like that energy ball there. I can't feel a darn thing when I do that. So if you're like me, you might not be energy sensitive that way, but a lot of people are. So don't even worry about that. Rub your hands together, place them on your chest, breathe in love for yourself, because it is so hard to feel self-love when we don't feel well. Breathe in love for yourself from your heart, and then put that on the top of your head, and then run it down your body. And then when you're done with that, just lie back and just feel that energy. And if you can't feel it, just know that it's there, okay? And do that every morning and every night. And that will be a positive thing that you're offering to yourself through that energy healing thing, if that helps.
Okay.
The other thing I tell people to do you have Himalayan salt lamps? Oh, we've got a break. Hang on. I want you to come back after the break, so hang on.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Change and growth are part of natural life and also part of your spiritual life. Everyone needs support and guidance, especially during life passages. Upgrade yourself with the OMTimes Experts program. With OMTimes Experts, you have access to the best intuitive coaches, spiritual teachers, counselors, astrologists, and oracles. Our team was carefully selected so you can trust. Find out more at experts.omtimes.com.
This segment of The Practical Intuitive is brought to you by Terry Kent of AmberstonePets.com. Years ago, Terry struggled with fleas and ticks on her 4 dogs but ruled out pesticides. Then she heard about raw Baltic amber. A fossilized tree resin, raw Baltic amber has been used for years in Europe to protect cats and dogs from fleas and ticks. Terry founded AmberstonePets.com 8 years ago to offer safe, organic, and beautiful pet collars that naturally repel fleas and ticks. How? The amber's aromatic properties are released into the pet's coat and spread by body oils from friction and body heat. The collars are available in several styles for cats and dogs, from kittens and puppies to giant breeds. Visit AmberstonePets.com, choose raw Baltic amber collars for your pets, and enter OMTimes at checkout for free shipping. Order today at AmberstonePets.com.
I'm Fidel Mshombo. I was born in a city called Bukavu in the Congo. We were a loving family, and then boom, everything that I had disappeared in a single day. People think that when you are a refugee and they resettle you to America, and all your problems are done. They don't understand that that's the beginning of everything. I was not born a refugee. I was made one.
It's time we welcome refugee families with open arms. Learn more at embracerefugees.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robyn Fritz, and we're live in Seattle, Washington. So I would like to add something to amberstonepet.com, to Terry Kent's ad, because Terry Kent and I collaborated on some new products that she's offering on her website. And that's Terry's Raw Baltic Amber collars for dogs and cats offer natural flea and tick relief. But Raw Baltic Amber has been used for centuries as an anti-inflammatory and for pain relief. And so we were talking about this, and I said, Terry, let's create a necklace for OMTimes readers. And let's add to what you're already doing. Let's add turquoise and clear quartz. And turquoise offers grounding and balancing, and she already offers some turquoise on dog and cat collars. But we also hooked her up with some clear quartz. And so between the turquoise, which offers grounding and balancing, and the clear quartz, which just offers additional clearing and healing abilities, it just boosts the amber. So Terry is now offering a necklace, an anklet, and a bracelet for people who need pain relief, anti-inflammatory, or otherwise are looking for pain relief in a natural way. And people have used Raw Baltic Amber for centuries for pain relief and anti-inflammatory abilities. And now there's a necklace, bracelet, or anklet that she's created for OMTimes readers. So the bracelet is $38 and the necklaces start at $57, and you'd have to contact Terry at amberstonepets.com because she wants you to measure your collar. But if you put OMTimes in the coupon box, you get free shipping. So think about this for gifts for loved ones or for yourself. So thanks for that. And Linda, let's bring you back on. Are you still there with us?
I am.
Okay, so it was interesting that you called in to talk about pain just as Terry created these new necklaces and bracelets and anklets for pain relief. So you might check out our website, amberstonepets.com, for that, because Raw Baltic Amber is great for pain. The other thing, a couple of other things that I would suggest is one of the things that really helped me, well, several things. Chiropractic and massage care for my chronic pain. Have you tried any of those?
I have tried massage, but not the chiropractor.
Yeah, and you might consider that. I don't know where you are in the state of Washington, but there are really gentle chiropractors out there. I had Winfield Hobbs on last month talking about chiropractic care. I've been seeing him for many years. He's in Roosevelt District in Seattle. But it's really, I was going for pain relief. Now, neuropathy is a little bit different than what I was going for because I know that's just really super sensitive. Certainly energy healing works for that. One of my advertisers previously, Aubrey Wallace, is a naturopath and a medical intuitive up in Everett, and she does phone consultations. And she actually did a mini reading on me when we were setting this up. She, with medical intuition, could give you some insight on homeopathic or other supplements that might help offer some relief to that. So you might check out her services. She can work with you on Skype, so you wouldn't have to go in person to her office. And you can find information on her at lovebeingu, LOVEBEINGU.info. So those are some real basic things. And another thing that I tried was a functional medicine specialist. And that's where things really opened up for me. So I'm giving you some very practical things that I experienced and used successfully. But here's the other thing. Your spiritual team is chiming in here, and they want you to know that you have not done anything wrong.
Okay.
Does that ring a bell with you? Because they're saying that you've fallen into this thing where I did something wrong and I'm being punished, and that is not true.
Okay. And how would so when you contact your spirit guides, do they have
Right.
names? How do you contact, or how would I know?
I can't hear you very well. Can you speak up just a little bit?
When you contact or when you want to contact your spirit guides, how would you know, like how would I find out the names of my spirit team or guide, or is there certain names, or is it just an energy?
Sometimes they will tell you their name. Sometimes you just know it. I always suggest to people to, call on them and bring them up. If you go to the Learn It Live program, experts.omtimes.com/Robyn Fritz. It's ROBYNFRITZ. I actually have a webinar up on, I think it's $15, and I did a whole webinar on spirit guides, so you can tune in to that. But with the work that I do, they just kind of end up chiming in with me when I'm talking with people. The other thing that you might want to consider is calling me up and scheduling what I call a soul progression clearing, and there's a free webinar up on the platform on that. But a soul progression clearing, really, we could do it in person or on Skype. I've worked with clients all over the world, and what that does is we get you grounded and balanced. We look at where your energy may be stuck. We pull it out, all of the stuck threads. So sometimes there are ancestral attachments to us. Sometimes, we had an accident earlier in our childhood, or we've had it like a car accident and we're in issue, or whatever's popped up. We will look at the threads that are holding you back, kind of pull them out, send them off to a divine fire to be burned up, and then we go back in and fill you up with healthy energy. And that can help several things. I obviously can't promise a cure for any sort of condition, but I can say that I have seen a lot of people get better with this. And it also will teach you some techniques, some energy healing and clearing techniques, and just clear you out so that you can help, battle what's happening with you on the intuitive and energy healing level, which is important for people to incorporate. And I wish that I had learned about that years ago, because the energy healing techniques certainly helped me. So is that offering you some help today?
It does. A lot of help. I appreciate
Great.
it. Is there anything else that you...
That's what I'm seeing right now. You're welcome. I would definitely check out a functional medicine specialist. You can Google functional medicine. There are some doctors here in the Seattle area. I absolutely adore mine. She's down in Swedish South Lake Union.
Okay.
But you can contact me, too, for a soul progression clearing session at my website, robynfritz.com. So thanks for calling in today. I appreciate it. Yeah, and your team is there cheering for you. So try those energy healing techniques and keep some sea salt around the house. And when you feel like the sea salt's used up, flush it down the sink. But work on, really loving and worshiping and adoring yourself, because it's hard when you're not feeling well, and that will help change the energy of what's going on.
Thank you.
So thanks for calling today. I appreciate your calling. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. So we're back here briefly, and I understand we have another caller on the line. Is she still there? Okay, so we'll. Oh, there. Kathy, are you there? Sorry.
Yes, I'm here. It just went blank. There was silence. So yes.
Yeah, I was waiting, and I was like, okay, I shouldn't have waited. So Kathy, thanks for calling, and thanks for waiting. So what's up with you today?
Well, my dog, a sweet Cavalier boy, transitioned in April.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And excuse me.
I have a Cavalier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry. I was having
It's
trouble.
okay.
I'm having trouble moving through my grief because
Right.
I still feel quite traumatized by his last day. And, although I've been getting, quite a number of signs from him, especially in the months following, I guess I'm just wondering if he has any messages.
Okay. What was his name?
Tico.
Tico?
Teko.
Teko?
Yes.
Cool. Where did that name come from?
I think it came from when I was a kid visiting my grandma's farm. There was an old doghouse that had that name on it, and I just always stuck
That's
with
cool.
it. I always liked the feel of it.
That's cool. That's great. So, Kathy, you do know that there's no time frame on grief.
Yeah.
Gosh, my parents died in 94 and 95, and it still feels like yesterday some days. And I work with my dad all the time as a medium. And the biggest problem we all have when we lose our animals is that a lot of people don't respect the connection that we have with them. So our grief, it's hard to go through our grief when everybody around us is kind of brushing it off like, oh, it was just a dog or a cat. And I know you have support of people that love you, and especially on those Cavalier forums on Facebook and so on, that everybody's offering support. But it's still hard because there's a part of society that just isn't there recognizing that our animals are our soulmates and they're as important to us as other humans. So don't let that distract you from what you're really feeling. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't feel like it's wrong to feel grief or that you need to have a time frame on ending it. So he was very sick in his last days. Was he another boy with our heart issues?
Yes, he had MVD.
Yeah, and I went through that in 2014 with my dog Alki, and I know what you went through. And this little guy feels like he had a lot of fluid in his body is what he's showing me. And that's hard to watch, and it was hard for me. And I'll tell you, it's hard to know what to do, but I've asked my dad to bring him here and show him and have him step forward and see what he has to say. And he's saying he was fighting really hard because he didn't want to leave you.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling emotion with you because Alki did not want to die right up until the last second.
Yeah, I didn't think Tico was ready to go.
He wasn't ready, but just like Alki, their body failed before we could get them to the point where they were ready. And I do this for a living, and I couldn't get Alki ready. Even when I told people he's going to die next week, even then I couldn't get him ready. But what he's saying was it was that he just didn't want to leave you, but he wants you to know that it's okay with him, that, his body just gave out. It wasn't anything that he could do about it. And you helped him. You helped him get out of his body when it was clear he didn't need it anymore.
He wasn't put to sleep, but he...
No, I know. Neither was Alki, but you gave him permission to go. You let him go, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You weren't holding on to him. Sometimes we hold on with this really great energy to just think we can support them and get them through that. And there came a point where you just was like, okay, I know there isn't anything more that I can do. And that's the way I got with Alki. And that's, I think, where we're connecting here is that our two boys went like that. And there wasn't anything we could do but finally say, okay, I don't want you to go either. But I can tell you right now, he's doing okay now. he's been resting, and he's actually moved to the point where he's looked back on his life, and there's nothing that he regrets except leaving, of course. But there's nothing that he's saying that you did wrong or that he would do differently in living with you. So that's pretty awesome, Kathy, that these guys can come to you and say, hey, it was perfect. I had this perfect life with you. I just couldn't keep it going. So what can we do to support you in your grief? What do you feel like you need?
I guess I just feel a lot of guilt because, even though throughout his life I gave him everything I could possibly, natural food, he was on a raw diet, he was, supplements. I feel like maybe I didn't choose a more maybe aggressive treatment in the end, or I feel guilt. I feel, didn't get him to the vet sooner, or I don't know. Like I just, even
right.
I tried.
And that's natural, Kathy. It's natural to have those feelings. And there, what does 10 have to do with Tico? The number 10. And I have to say, when I work with people, sometimes numbers pop in, and I don't know if it's 10 months, 10 years, 10 days. What does number 10 ring a bell with you at all with him?
Yes. He was just under 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on let's take a break here and then come back to you. Hang on, Kathy.
Okay. All right.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Join Vibe Nation radio host, international psychic medium Carrie Turcotte, as she guides her listeners to rediscover themselves by accessing the keys of knowledge that already exist within. Each week's show is divinely orchestrated to intertwine with the universal energies, allowing the listeners to go deeper within. At the end of each show, Carrie will tap into the energies of the listeners and give a message from Spirit about the upcoming week. If you really want to get to know who you truly are, join Carrie each Monday at 3 p.m. on Vibe Nation Radio.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
31? 13?
We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. He realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robyn Fritz, and we're live in Seattle, Washington. And we have Kathy on the line. Are you still here, Kathy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So we're talking with Kathy about her Cavalier boy who passed away from heart disease. So, Kathy, I know you said you feel guilty, and I totally get that. Because shoot, we try so hard with these guys, and the biggest problem, and I've said this over and over on my blog, and you know exactly what I'm saying, the biggest problem in choosing to create a family with animals is that they're just not here that long. no matter what. And I'm looking at this little boy during the break, and I'm chatting with him, and he has no regrets except that he died earlier than he wanted to. But he and his spirit team are telling me there's nothing that would have made any difference there, that there's nothing you did wrong. And I know it's hard to hear because you want to think like, but he died, but he died, but he died, you know, and yet he's completely content where he is, except that he wants to be with you, and he's not blaming you for anything. And even if you had gotten him medicine earlier, I can tell you from what I'm seeing, from what he's showing me, if it gave him an extra day, I would have been surprised. When that damn disease kicks in, there's really not a lot you can do. And the things that you could have done, you know, like what people go to, like they tap the chest and get all the fluid out and stuff, it just prolongs it. Yeah. So the good thing that you did was be there with him. And do you know, I don't know what you do for a living or anything, but do you know you were actually supporting him with energy healing while he was sick? Do you know that? Or have you ever tried energy work? Because you were actually natural at it. And the point of my work and my show is to help people realize their natural, intuitive, and healing abilities. But you were actually putting your hands on this dog and offering him energy healing, which was supporting him, actually supported him longer. Are you aware that you were doing that?
I have taken Reiki, and I'm trained in massage as well. So I massaged him. And,
Reiki and what?
Canine massage.
Oh, canine massage. Sorry, I didn't hear that. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so you know, you were doing that one thing. Well, massage is great, but the energy healing was what he was showing me. So you were actually supporting him. And at some point coming up here in the coming years, people are going to actually see the actual physical effect that energy healing does. It isn't just a mind thing. It really does actually support the body. And you did that. He lived longer with that energy healing, and it was just coming out of you naturally. So one of the things you might want to do is pull your energy back in and get yourself grounded back right there in your body so you're not feeling so much of the emotions of other people. But honestly, to offer you support, emotional support, to say that you did everything you could do, and there's nothing, not one thing that he's showing me or his team is showing me that would have changed the outcome at all. Okay. It's just what happens to our bodies. You know, we want everything to be perfect, and it can't be. But he does have a question for you.
Okay.
First of all, does that make sense? Is there anything there that you're questioning, or anything that you're not like you're going like, wait, I don't understand what she's saying?
No, that all makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
I'm a big believer in energy healing. Yes.
Well, yeah, you've taken Reiki, but even then, I mean, you've got this natural ability. So cross your hands and put them on your heart. And just bring that love back into your heart.
What question does he have?
He wants to know if he can come back.
Oh, my God. I was just going to ask you that.
Can I come back? Can I come back?
Oh, of course he can.
Yep. May I suggest that the two of you take a little bit of time to get used to that?
Yeah.
Because he would jump right back in. Do you have contact with a good breeder?
No, actually I don't. I've sort of fallen out of contact with any, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know of any.
So contact me privately. I can connect you with my dog's breeder. And you'll get a really healthy dog, most likely. I mean, nobody can guarantee that, but Ollie's parents are heart clear past 8 so far.
Wow.
Which is pretty awesome. And this is the healthiest dog I've ever seen. He's 2 now. so I can connect you with that. But give yourself some time to recuperate. There's no time frame for grief, okay? So there's no time that I can say next week at this time at 3 o'clock in the afternoon you're going to feel perfectly fine. You don't. You go in waves, and you're going to feel, at times you're going to feel like I'm okay, and the next day you're going to be plunged in grief, and that's okay. Just tell yourself it's okay. Put your hands on your heart. Let your heart do some healing. Put some sea salt. I love sea salt. Put it out and around your house, and you can even get a sea salt pendant and wear it. Of course, I love crystals. Grounding and protection crystals will help you get rebalanced, and give yourself time to grieve. And then when you're ready, you can research another dog, but he's ready to come back. I mean, he wants to come back. I'm not saying he's ready right this moment. He needs to go back. I'm telling him he needs to go back with his spiritual team, do his life review, and then get all set. But literally, Alki died on November 17th, and in January, the soul announced itself that it was coming back. I didn't realize that he would be coming back with his memories intact, which he did. But imagine trying to explain that to a breeder. So I am offering a webinar in October on animals, the afterlife, and reincarnation. What happens with them, how and why they come back, what to do and what not to do. And I invite you to join me for that. And I keep up with me on Facebook. If you go to my business page, The Practical Intuitive, Robyn M. Fritz, and like that page, you'll be connected with my upcoming webinars, but you can also check it at experts.omtimes.com/Robyn Fritz. And I did a little ebook on finding Oliver, and that's available on Amazon and some other places. Oh, you got that? Good. So you know. Yeah. But thanks for calling in, and let me know how you're doing, and also connect with me, and I'll give you the breeder's name.
Okay, thanks so much, Robyn.
Thanks, Kathy. Take care.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Humanity Healing International is a small nonprofit with a big dream. Since 2007, HHI has been working tirelessly to bring help to communities with little or no hope. Our projects are not broad mandates, nor are they overnight solutions, but they bring the reassurance that no one is alone and that someone cares. To learn more, please visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hi, I'm Kelly Fox, host and astrologer of The Astrology Show. Each week, I'll give you access to the current transits, which are a valuable tool that provide astrological information to help unlock the potential each of us has. Understanding the stars can help steer us in the right direction to make better informed choices. So if you're wondering what's going to happen in your week ahead, be sure to tune in to The Astrology Show for guidance, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. You're neutral to it, and you can hear it repeatedly without feeling anything. But when we introduce a new stimulus, save the food, we've achieved pulling a natural or inborn response from you. Save the food, because 40% of all food in the US never gets eaten. Save the food. Cook it, store it, share it. Just don't waste it. For tips and recipes, visit savethefood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robyn Fritz, and we're live in Seattle, Washington. So I want to tap back briefly into a subject I want to talk about today and tomorrow on Facebook Live is the concept of sacred play. And I wanted to bring it up on Labor Day because we work really hard in the United States, at least. And I don't mean at least. What I mean is that we don't take as much time as other people around the world. It's like Americans haven't learned the value of play. And I can speak for myself there because I don't take very much time off except to be with my animals and a few friends here and there. But when we're talking about working and doing the best job we have, I get emails all the time like, what am I supposed to do, or how am I supposed to pick a job, or where am I supposed to work next, or what job should I take, what city should I live in? That's what we're here to do, is to learn to make these decisions and to analyze them as we get into them. But we're all here to grow our souls, and one of the things that we do and we should be doing to grow our souls is to really learn to play. And I learned this by literally watching a super pod of orca whales up the beach here in Seattle where I live. I am so fortunate to live near saltwater, which is really self-sustaining to me, and I guess that's one reason why I always tell people to keep sea salt around them. But watching orcas out in the sound, and a whole bunch of people were gathered, and they were sharing binoculars and really, really enjoying watching them, and I'm looking at that like, do we really need something extraordinary for us to just stop and relax and play? Do we need permission to play? So I'd like you to think about the concept of play as being sacred and as something that we do because it nourishes our bodies and it nourishes our souls as well. Play is essential to our well-being. I mean, we all know that we need to exercise and we need to get out there and move our bodies. But, our European counterparts take a month off every year to do this or that and to really get into the idea that there's something in the world besides their 9-to-5 jobs. And what is it that really intrigues you? And I'm going to be talking about sacred play more often coming up here in the future. But here's one thing I want you to think about today. Playing teaches us to relax into joy. So when we lose someone close, as our caller Kathy lost her beloved dog, and I have lost friends and family. We've all lost something, or when we're dealing with health issues, we tend to forget that joy needs to be part of our life and that sometimes we need to work at it. And that when we relax our bodies and ourselves to just take in the joy of a walk or watch a good show or listen to a good piece of music, whatever it is that we enjoy, we're actually allowing ourselves to breathe more deeply and to bring in that healing energy that sustains us, that helps us get through grief, that helps us get through disappointment and past the worry of health issues. Because we are going to run into complications in our lives. So when we allow this joy to come in, it allows us to fill ourselves up with something really amazing, and it taps our creativity, and we all are creative. We all have different ways of expressing that. So there was a time after I was watching the super pod and going like, wow, and talking with the orcas, like, will you come over here, come closer, because they were clear on the other side of Puget Sound, and they were laughing at me like, well, the fishing's better over here. So the super pod was our local orca population, and they only eat salmon. That's all they eat. So, they were there where the salmon were. And they were showing me that the hunt was fun for them. The hunt for salmon was fun. That work was life-giving play. So there was a time when my dog Murphy had passed away, my first Cavalier, and I was preparing dinner for friends, and I turned on the stereo, and Beethoven's Fifth Symphony was blaring out at me, and I had put that on for her funeral, which is that I like classical music, but I don't play it that much. But that Beethoven's Fifth always reminded me of Murphy, her very smart and courageous personality, and also just how the music flowed together really well. And as Beethoven's Fifth was blaring out, Murphy suddenly popped in, showing up in spirit. She'd been dead for 3 or 4 years at that point. And she was teasing, she was laughing, and she was singing. She was singing to Beethoven. And I said, "Why are you singing?" And she said, "It was music the angels sang to." And I said, "Angels singing to Beethoven?" And she said, "Yes." She goes, "It's play. It's sacred play." And I thought, wow, that's what the orcas had just said to me, that their play was sacred play. It was work, but it was also sacred. And so, you know, I got the message that Beethoven was certainly a musical genius, and he loved his work, and it was fun for him. But in tapping into that talent that he had, he tapped into the creativity that comes from hard work combined with inspiration and the pure joy of doing his work. So he played. So play is not something to avoid, it's something to embrace, to wrap our arms around, to know that sure, we go off to our 9-to-5 jobs, and they may not always be the most fun things in the world, but they're there. They put food on the table, they put a roof over our heads. And if you look at every aspect of your job as, oh, I'm playing through this to the next thing, then you're tapping your innate creative genius, you're tapping your innate intuitive and healing abilities, and you're creating something magnificent in the world, another piece of joy in your life. And that is so important because, you know, as Murphy was standing there in front of me, and she's singing to Beethoven, I hear these other voices singing along in harmony to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And I'm like, what is that? What am I hearing? And she said, angels. Angels are joining with me. The angels are singing to Beethoven. So all these years later, Beethoven inspires people because he made his work sacred play. So I want you to go away and think about that being open to joy and creativity gets us past grief. It gets us past worry about our health issues. Sure, those things are still going to be there. Sure, our work is going to be hard, and sure, washing dishes and vacuuming is not fun, at least not for me. But try to incorporate play into your daily life. And so think about that. It's Labor Day. We're celebrating work, but let's also celebrate the joy that comes from creativity and the inspiration and the joy that you bring to others in that. So as we get close to ending the show today, I'd like to thank everyone for joining with us and invite you to come back to call again next week for any questions that you have. If you're shy and about coming on the radio, please email me at robyn@robynfritz.com. That's ROBYNFRITZ.com. I have questions that people have emailed me during the week. We'll see about getting to them next week. But if you would like to join me this week, I have a webinar on Thursday at 11 a.m., Thursday, September 7th. It's free. It's tips on becoming your best self. And we'll have some fun together. And then on Thursday, September 21st, we're going to be talking about how to resolve grief and connect with your beloved dead. Humans or animals, it's all good. We'll talk about how our intuition works, how we can create rituals to connect with our dead, and different ways of resolving grief, because I know it's hard. It's hard to deal with grief. And it's hard to go on, and it's hard to come home and open the door and realize your animals aren't there anymore. And I'm still, years later, still getting over the fact that Murphy's been gone since March 8th of 2012. And even though the two animals living with me now are reincarnations, they're still new bodies and they're new personality. Well, sometimes they're new personalities. And it's all good. It's all good. So as we end up close to ending today, let's offer some energy healing from the goddess herself. Cross your hands together, put your hands on your heart, and breathe into the palms of your hands. And now take your hands and put them in front of your face. And as you breathe into them, feel that breath of life. And as you turn your palms outward, offer that healing to wherever it needs to go in the world. And last week we talked about hurricanes and the role of hurricanes in the world. And you should all be aware we have another one coming at us here in the United States. Hurricane Irma will be arriving on the east coast of the United States. And offer peace and love. Don't ask it to go away. Don't ask it to slow down. Don't ask it to change course. Just offer it peace and love, because the role of a hurricane is to offer cleansing and healing of the land and water it moves over to keep the planet alive. And again, cross your hands, put your hands on your heart, and bring love and peace back to yourself. Get yourself grounded and balanced. You've been in touch with Fallon for this hour. Might be a little lightheaded. And as you breathe that energy into your palms, then bring your palms in front of your face. Blow that energy onto your palms. And then cross them back on your heart. And this will offer you peace and support for the rest of your day and week. Thank you for joining us. Please let me know if you have other questions. And take care. Thank you and goodbye.